Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Vegan View. Today is a super special episode because I have my friend Imani here, the owner of Nature's Thirst Trap, and she's going to be talking to us about her company, her brand, her mission, and vegan motherhood.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
We're so excited to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit about your vegan journey?
So I became vegan after watching What the Health. I don't know if you all seen the documentary.
Yeah.
I know we were just talking about Tabitha, and this also inspired her journey to veganism as well. So after watching What the Health, the person who was doing the documentary, he was just showing how it was just a lot of just weird things that were going on with the food industry that he showed. He also showed how it was also linked to racism and just a lot of just food injustices around the world. And I could not sit well with that after watching it. And I went vegan cold turkey or cold tempeh.
Yeah, I like that.
Tofurkey.
Cold tofurkey.
I like tempeh. That was great.
Cold tempeh? I love that.
Yeah, so after watching that documentary, I literally emptied out my fridge of everything that had dairy products and animal byproducts. I just got rid of it, and from there, I was vegan.
Amazing. Wow. Amazing.
So that's just how it started.
So you quit cold tofurkey or cold tempeh?
Yes, and that was around, I want to say when did that documentary come out? I feel like 2014 is like long ago. I don't know why that number is sticking out. But whenever What the Health came out, I watched it during that time. It was trending. And so that's when it all happened. So
a lot of people have a hard time doing that. That's super intimidating to just get rid of everything and start fresh. So how did you go about that? Like, what were your first steps once you were like, all right, everything's out of the fridge now? How did you go about replacing it with things that would fulfill you but were vegan?
Yeah, so during that time when I went vegan, there were not a lot of I don't think Beyond Meat was out, Impossible wasn't out. And I want to say that was a good thing because I literally had to get creative with my meals. And that was such a dope thing because it allowed me to explore creativity in such a different way. And so I just went to the grocery store and literally just picked up vegetables and just got creative. Yeah. And that's literally what I had to do. And it wasn't hard because I guess I just already made it up in my mind that I wanted to be vegan. Wow. And this is what I'm going to do.
You were determined. Would you say that you became more of a foodie after going vegan?
I would say so because I became more experimental. Now, when I wasn't a vegan, I didn't eat things like oysters, and then I know in the Black community, chitterlings and stuff like that. There was a lot of things that I stayed away from. But when I became vegan, I explored different vegetables like beets and Brussels sprouts. Those were things that I never knew of. Even asparagus. Those were things that I didn't eat growing up. And so when I became vegan, it allowed me to try so many more different foods.
I agree.
I think that a lot of people see that as a negative thing, and I always think it's so exciting because for me it was like relearning how to eat because you have to forget everything that you were familiar with that you normally reach for, but it's like relearning and it's exciting. You learn what spices to use, what vegetables. It's like exciting.
It is
exciting.
Mushrooms and garlic and onions. That tastes good with beans.
Experimenting and you actually get excited about cooking or even visiting different restaurants. I know that there was this specific place in DC that was an Afghani restaurant and they had a vegan menu and I'm like, I want to go have vegan Afghani food. That sounds amazing. So just that maybe wouldn't have excited me as much before. I would have been like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I became a better cook once I became vegan. I make all my things from scratch, and they always say, you make your food from scratch, you think you bougie? Yes. Yes. I make my cornbread from scratch.
Yes.
Yes. I want that.
I know.
Yes. And why don't we have that right now?
I should have brought some. My cornbread is off the chain.
Oh,
It's really good.
I believe it.
Even
we
my
need to find that out.
pancakes are really dope.
Oh,
but-
were you always comfortable in the kitchen? Because it sounds like, I mean, I know for me, if I were to throw everything out, I would be like, I don't even know like where to start. You know, I was like, what's vegan at Taco Bell? You know, that was my like journey into veganism. So like, were you always in the kitchen cooking, or did you kind of become more into it after becoming vegan?
I think I think I really enjoy cooking for other people, and I think that has always been my thing. Even though I wasn't always a good cook, I still would find my way in the kitchen and just see people try my foods and be like, this really ain't good, but I still just enjoyed being able to show my love by just feeding people. So I think just when I became vegan, it just amplified. And even when my friends come over, I love making them some food and just letting them try different things that I've been learning or trying. And so, even when it comes to like my pancakes, that's my favorite breakfast thing, is just being able to make those pancakes from scratch and making it taste so good.
Yeah, let's talk about Nature's Thirst Trap. I love the name, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's how we met, is because we were doing a collaboration with your juices, and I tried all the flavors, and I was like, girl, wait, hold up. So freaking good. So can you just tell us like the journey, why you started it, how you started it, and all that?
So just going back to when I became vegan, I started juicing a lot as well. I went to a meditation circle with my best friend, and for some reason I just had this calling to go buy a juicer, and I had never really juiced before, never had a reason to, didn't know that juicing was a thing. And so when I became vegan, I realized that you could get all of these nutrients to go straight to your bloodstream just by drinking a juice. And I'm like, what? Cheat code?
Cheat code,
So I just started juicing after going to that meditation circle. I went to Target and purchased a juicer for like $40, maybe. Not the best juicer. I don't juice with that anymore, obviously.
If it does the job.
It did the job.
Yeah.
And so I would create like these crazy juices. I had one juice that I called Pea Power. And it was made out of like cranberries and stuff like that. If you get where I'm going.
I get it.
I would just like take pictures and upload it on Instagram, like, oh, look at my juice. Or I had one, it was inspired by Erykah Badu, and it was just like, my eyes are green because I eat a lot of vegetables. That was a super long title, but it was fulfilling. And so I would just do that, and then someone commented and said, you know what? You should sell these. And I was like, good idea, but nah. And so it took about 2 to 3 years before I actually started to, juice it and make it available to others in my community. And I just felt like, just from where I come from, Compton.
Okay, Compton.
Straight out of Compton. There were not a lot of juice bars in the community. There would be some, but they would have like chamoy and different things in that, and I'm like, okay, this isn't really what I'm looking for. That's a good start, but I'm looking for something real raw and fresh. And so that's when I figured if I was to make these juices and make them good, the people in my community would also be able to benefit from the nutrients and also just making it taste good. I figured, come on now.
Because like when juices and healthy things are accessible, like people will go to them and get them. You know?
Especially if they taste good, because I know like if someone like isn't a very healthy person and they see like a green juice, they might think, oh my god, is that going to taste like spinach? But if it tastes amazing and they look at it and they're like, wow, I could definitely juice, this is fantastic.
Just the name and like how you made it fun too. Like that draws me in all the time when I'm in the grocery store. If someone has like a catchy tagline or like a pretty label like you do.
Thank you. And I designed the labels and everything myself.
So good.
I don't know where.
Oh, gin and juice. Gin and juice. I love that.
Pineapple has like with heels.
I know. Oh yeah.
Yes. And so even on the back, I thought it was very important to add like the nutritional facts, because especially before I was vegan, I really didn't know like how food contributed to different diseases or how they could make you feel good depending on what you eat. And so I wanted to educate the people in my community that, you know, the things that you're putting in your body, if you could know what they're doing, maybe that would inspire you to keep doing it.
That's a really good point, because sometimes you pick up something that's healthy and they're like, oh, you know, like ashwagandha or like tulsi, and you're just like, that's great. What does it do?
Yeah. What does it do?
Like, not all of us are like born with that information.
Right.
So the fact that you have this here, like, this is for this is for this. It's like, oh, great. Like, and you're almost drinking it with more intention.
Yes.
Because, like, this is for my colon, this is for my liver, as opposed to, all right, I'll drink some ashwagandha because it sounds foreign, and I guess it's good for me.
The amount of stuff I've seen on TikTok and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, this is the new trendy thing. I don't know what it does, but I'll get it. But it's so cool. Yeah,
and you're learning, like, while you know, you're
Yeah.
learning while you're consuming, and like, I think, you know, for me, I'm so visual that, like, for me looking at this, I'm like, parsley, good source of iron. I didn't know that, but now every time I look at parsley, I'm gonna be like, oh, I remember that, like,
Yeah, exactly.
It helps you eat and consume more intentionally. And that's one thing I really love about you, because even when you post, like, on your personal page foods that you're making, you always say, like, oh, sweet potatoes are good for this, strawberries are good for this. And
I love that.
It has me thinking, like, oh, okay, like, let me think more, like, deeper about it. So I think it's beautiful that you do that.
Well, thank you. And that was definitely my intention. I even had, when I started off, I had created a coloring book for children. And it was also very educational. It had different fruits and things, and it had, like, the benefits under it.
Oh, I love
and
that.
so I just really wanted to be educational while I was doing this as well, because there were so many things that I didn't know and I had to learn. And so
Did you start this soon after going vegan, or what was?
No, so I want to say maybe about 3 years.
3 years in.
3 years later. Yeah.
Incubation period.
Right.
all the great like business people, they always like, they're like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And then they do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I actually started at the start of COVID, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that beneficial, you think? It like gave you like downtime to really like focus on it?
It did. And honestly, I wasn't even thinking. I wasn't conscious about, like, oh, this is during COVID. Let me, like, hop on it and, you know, why people are concerned about their health.
Right.
It was just, honestly, I think it was that downtime, because before that, I was teaching at a school, and I was trying out some recipes, and I would bring, like, small bottles and have the students try them.
So cute.
So they would be like, oh, Miss Imani, what you drinking? Some of the kids would be like, ew.
I mean, some adults still have that reaction.
Well, you know you're getting an honest opinion.
That's true.
Kids don't lie.
Yeah, and they were just so pure, you know. At first, you would have, like, half the kids like, yeah, that's green, I don't want to try it. But secretly, like, you know, kids want your attention.
Curious.
And they're going to remember that. They're going to remember you, like, into adulthood. Like, I had this teacher. Can we please try it?
Yes. I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah,
So I have the pineapple
I've already
express.
started sipping. So.
I have a pineapple express.
Hannah and I have the gin and juice. Hey, laid back.
So this is where that green is coming into. So it definitely has that green taste, whereas the pineapple express on the end is the much more sweeter and really good.
Cheers!
Oh, it smells so good.
Oh, the ginger.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's so perfect.
I was just about to say, perfect amount of ginger, like,
Perfect amount of ginger.
just that, like, perfect little
heavenly.
This
zing.
tastes like grown-up apple juice.
Yes.
It's the best thing ever.
This is the best thing ever.
It's apple, pineapple, turmeric, and cinnamon. Like
really
perfect.
cinnamon.
Perfect. I would have
Oh my
never
God.
thought to mix like turmeric with apple and pineapple.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
And the cinnamon adds like such a unique flavor.
Oh,
And my boyfriend actually came up with the cinnamon. I actually had a blueberry lemonade, and he was like, add some cinnamon. And I'm like, cinnamon? What?
Yeah.
Good idea.
But he's also vegan, so he gets creative in the kitchen
Yeah.
as well, and so that's where that cinnamon.
Did you guys go vegan together?
No, we didn't. We were vegan. We actually met at a grocery store.
I think every vegan secretly wishes they met their significant other like at the produce aisle.
That
or,
literally
or,
is like a rom-com. Like, you guys meet at the kale section.
It was by the kill section.
Wait, we need all the tea.
I know. Wait, now I want to hear
This
this
makes me
story.
all hot. Yeah, it was at Winco, and I remember my little sister wanted to become vegan as well, and so I took her to the grocery store, and we were just adding things into our cart so I could just show her, you know, what she can make.
Yeah.
And this guy just kept on like watching us. And I'm like, okay, awkward. I wasn't made up. I wasn't dressed up. So I'm
That's
like,
the best too, when someone like hits on you and you're not even like done up.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're
that
like,
happens
wow,
all
it's
the
only
time,
up from
though.
here.
Right, it's only up from here, baby.
You can tell like me like this.
Okay, baby, wait till I, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm just like hoping that he doesn't speak because I'm like not feeling very confident. You know, I'm just like trying to be in and out with my groceries. And so he comes up to us and he's like, "Are you guys twins?" Because me and my sister, we have very similar lips. And we're like, "No." And I try to like cut it short, "No," and keep it pushing. And he seems like he still wanted to say something.
Yeah.
And so he came back to me and he's like, "Oh, I like what's in your cart." And I looked at his hands and he had field roast sausage. And he had something else that let me know he was vegan. And I was like, "Ooh, I like what's in your hand too."
Oh my god!
Hot and steamy.
Sexy.
Look.
Why is the AC off?
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying to like really flirt with him or I didn't really feel anything romantic at that moment.
Okay.
But I just thought like, oh cool, another vegan. And from there, you know, I hit him up and he did try to friend zone me afterwards, which was weird.
Hold up.
I know, it got weird. I'm like, "Are you friend zoning me now?"
He's trying to keep you chasing after him.
Yeah, he tried to run a little game or
Yeah,
something.
it was like, I chased you
It did.
first, now you chase me.
Yeah.
I guess he was trying to get me back.
Yeah.
And so after trying friend zoning me, he actually invited me out for lunch at a raw vegan restaurant.
Oh, what vegan restaurant?
Ahimsa. I believe in Long Beach.
Oh, Long Beach.
I love
yeah.
Ahimsa.
So good. And so we met there, and even though he tried to friend zone me, he showed up with flowers. And so
See, it was a trick.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Trick, just keeping you on your toes.
Right. And so after that, you know, now here we are with a beautiful baby girl.
Oh my
And she is beautiful.
She is
gorgeous.
Stunning.
So
Can we
cute.
please talk about vegan motherhood?
Yes.
And like how
Let's
that
start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So you get pregnant. Then how was that? Like being a vegan in
man.
pregnancy.
I was at a party one time and there was this lady who came up to me and was like, "Make sure you're taking your iron pills because this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen." She was just like
Oh my goodness.
really
Intense.
on me, and it was
Yeah.
just very intense, and I just had to let her know. I said, "No, I'm fine. I drink Beat It Up." I have another flavor called Beat It Up, and that has beet, apples, and carrots, which is really good for your bloodstream. And I was just letting her know, like, I'm fine. I'm very well taken care of. And she was just like super promoting iron pills. I don't even understand it, but she was just like super attacking me. And so during my pregnancy, I just kept my diet the same, obviously eating way more. I was always craving veggie grills, buffalo chicken strips.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
the buffalo wraps?
The little strips.
The strips.
Oh, the
buffalo
It's like
wings.
the
Yeah, the buffalo wings.
So
Oh my
good.
gosh. Every day I would want them.
Those are my favorite. Don't even get me started.
every day and I'm not pregnant.
I know,
I don't know what my excuse is. I just can't stop.
Why
I don't
doesn't
know.
Veggie Girl have a Michelin star for those things?
They're
Like,
so
it's
good.
so good.
So freaking good. Every day I'm like, "Can we get some chicken strips?" That's all I wanted. But I definitely had to make sure that I was eating well. I went to is it Sweet Greens? They have like a vegan salad there, and it has like little
Shumami?
The
beans.
shumami.
The shumami.
with the beans. Yeah, I went there last night.
I had that yesterday.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's good.
Look at us, shumami's
Shumami mommy.
It's so good. I ate a lot of those. Also, I ate a lot of beets because dates. I heard that dates would like induce your labor and make your labor go by faster. I don't know if that's true because I did have a 12-hour labor.
Oh my god.
Could have been a 24-hour.
It could have been 24 hours.
You're right.
So maybe cut it in half.
It could, yeah. So maybe it cut it in half, especially it being my first time. I had an all-natural birth.
Wow.
It was super beautiful.
Oh, it's
Me and my boyfriend was just talking about the experience yesterday because it was just like the perfect experience. I remember walking into the birthing center. First off, I also had a doula, so I think that helped a lot because we would do yoga and she would also introduce me to different things that I can eat that would help. And so walking into the birthing center on that day of, it was just beautiful. I remember walking in and there was like the tub because I was hoping to have a water birth, even though I didn't actually give birth inside of the water because I just could not find that energy.
But it's nice that you have the choice.
Yeah, I had the choice. I tried like so many different positions. I went from the water to a squat bar to another squat bar to the bed to the side.
Which one worked?
The bed, because I think honestly it was God, because as I was laying down towards the end of your birthing experience, I suppose towards the end the contractions are supposed to come like quicker, but mine, they were like 12 minutes apart, and this was at the end, like when I'm already dilated, ready to go. It was 12 minutes apart because I literally didn't have any more energy, and I was drinking like coconut water and stuff, but it would like still make me puke just from like the pain and things. Yeah, I just had to like rest in those 12 minutes. I would literally fall asleep.
Wow.
I would literally knock out, and then I would feel it coming back, and I'd be like, it's coming.
And then,
oh my God.
And so eventually, I don't know where this energy came from, but my boyfriend, he says that I just was like,
oh my God, yes.
And that's where she was just like, boop, they're like, fill her head. I'm like, and then she just like, bloop.
wow.
The things that women can do.
I know, women are amazing.
Women are amazing.
Mothers are amazing.
Yeah.
The other
Incredible.
day I had this thought when I saw a pregnant woman. I'm just like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I know it sounds weird, but it's kind of crazy that she's pregnant. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she's holding a baby, because you don't see a lot of pregnant people, even though there's like a million people, like billions of people in the world, you still don't really see that many
That often.
often. So when you do see one, you're just like, the body's like crazy.
Yeah.
You can just hold
another
like,
human.
Wow.
Yes.
Women are so powerful.
Yes.
Shout out to all the ladies,
Yes.
the women watching. Like, keep doing your thing. All the mothers.
The fact that you were able to do that too, just like so exhausted and just like 12 hours.
Oh my
But
God.
that's what, a lot of women, I was researching, they say like when they feel like they cannot do it anymore, that's when it happens. And literally I started to just like lose myself. According to my boyfriend, my lips were like changing colors, like blue, like literally probably next to death. And I was just like, I don't know how this baby's gonna come out. And the midwives, they're like playing tug of war with me to like give me strength to like push her out. And it just was not. It was
Giving
not
Well,
life.
that's a really
Giving
really good
life.
thing that you
Yes.
said.
Literally giving life. Like I felt like I lost a part of myself, and that's probably why my lips are turning blue.
Yeah.
And then a new me was born.
Yeah.
And I really feel that way, because
So
it's
maybe
just
when
so
I'm ready
beautiful.
to have a little child, maybe I'll go in thinking, all right, I'm done, and then
Right.
maybe it'll just real quick. Exactly. Like I'm not even
Come
gonna.
in on minute one.
I'm
You're
like,
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like,
Reverse psychology
I can't,
on the baby.
I can't do it anymore. I don't know what's gonna happen, and then just
Right. Yeah.
like-
You know what? It's interesting because you have these ideas. Because I thought once I walked in, I'm like, all right, I'm 6 centimeters, because that's the point that they would allow me to enter the birthing center.
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna be done in 2 hours. I've been eating my dates. I've been drinking my smoothies, doing what I need to do. And when I tell you, I was in that water for 2 hours, and I'm like, she ain't ready yet. Oh, girl.
She was comfy.
She was very comfortable.
So at the age she is now, is it just like milk, breast milk, or
Just all breast milk.
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna start introducing her to some puree, so I'm really excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously it's gonna be some homemade.
I was
puree.
gonna say, you have the recipes down,
Yes,
like
yes.
literally just
Seasoning.
one.
Yes, you already know.
Yeah.
So
what kind
I'm
of
really
things are you
excited.
gonna introduce?
I want to start off with yams. Like that's the first thing we want to do, because
Come
I think
on.
it's best to like introduce her to one thing at a time, just to figure out like if she's gonna be allergic to anything, or if something's not, sitting well with her.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're gonna be doing all types of stuff.
I'm excited to see this.
Yes.
Well, hopefully you can introduce baby food maybe too.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Wow.
that would be great.
Comment below. Pressure her.
Right. Yeah, because now I'm moving from at first I started off with just juices, but now I'm moving into like the kitchen full throttle.
Tell us.
Okay, so this is my hot cake.
Cannot wait to try.
Yes. Okay. So like I said, I've been making like my cornbread and pancakes from scratch. Like pancakes is one of my favorite breakfast meals to make. I feel like when you have a good, tasty breakfast, like that sets the tone for the rest of your day.
Yeah.
And I love to eat. Okay, so
You're in good company with us.
Literally, we live to eat.
Yeah, we were just talking about it, me and Joy. We were like,
I
when we wake up, that's the first thing we're thinking
That's
about.
our
Like,
motivation
what are we
to
eating
go
for
to
breakfast?
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done with a meal, I'm like, what's for
the
lunch?
next one?
Right.
Yeah, ooh.
How soon can it be lunch?
Right, exactly.
Same here, but I like to have like my pancakes with like a chickpea scramble and probably pair it off with a side of like some strawberries. And I've gotten to a point where I top these off for like, I'll get my potato pillar, I think. What are the pillars called? And I'll just like do a little Dr. Bronner's chocolate. I don't know if you guys taste it.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
They were there at the event
Melt.
yesterday, and I tried it, and it was really good.
Yes, it's really good. So I'll just do a couple of shavings and then top it off with some strawberries.
She's a chef.
Look,
A whole
I'm trying
chef.
some things, okay?
Okay, so what's in the hotcakes and how do we prepare them to make them as good as you make them?
Okay, so it's really, really simple. So when you're making things from scratch, it can take a lot of time, and that's where this idea was birthed, because I'm like,
I mean, it was your other baby.
Right. The idea was birthed because I'm like, people don't always have a lot of time to make breakfast. So literally all you need is 1 cup of this, 1 cup of milk, and I also like to add a tablespoon of vegetable oil because I like my pancakes, real scrumptious.
Yeah.
And I like my edges crispy.
Crispy.
If it ain't crispy, it ain't right. So these taste like, my best friend said they taste like funnel cakes.
Oh.
That's what I was going for as well.
Oh my
Love
god.
funnel cakes. Funnel cakes remind me of like fairs and theme parks.
Yeah.
Childhood with the strawberries.
With the
Yes,
strawberries
and the powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar.
Oh, okay, I haven't did
The
the
powdered
powdered
monk
sugar yet.
fruit.
Powdered sugar with some chocolate drizzle with the strawberries.
Okay, look.
Oh my goodness.
Yummy.
Because I have my own personal pack at home. I always have to keep it on deck because it just makes it way more easier than me trying to like grab everything out.
Yeah.
So as you were asking about the ingredients, so this has organic unbleached all-purpose flour, organic cane sugar. Everything's organic. Okay. Panic, don't panic. Bacon powder, aluminum-free Himalayan pink salt, ground cinnamon, and ground nutmeg.
So simple.
Really
simple
simple.
ingredients.
Clean.
Yeah.
No artificial flavors, no natural flavors.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
None of that.
wow. So these are available now?
They are.
Where can we get them?
You could get them at nttjuice.com.
Okay.
So again, that's nttjuice.com. So
Wow. And we'll put
We'll link
that
it.
down below. 'Cause
Yeah.
y'all are, I can't wait to try this.
I know. I
I know,
can't wait.
I'm so
I'm gonna go
excited.
home right after this.
I know.
yes.
So I want to know a little bit more about you being a mom, and I'm sure you received a lot of like questions and maybe just like pressure from people who weren't vegan to not raise a vegan child, or maybe like unsolicited advice, So how did you first, like, what are some of the most ridiculous things you heard and you were told, and how did you respond to those people?
Okay, so during pregnancy, it was that one thing with the beets. Like, that really bothered me a little bit because I'm like, I asked her, have you tried beets? And she's like, no. I'm like,
Well, that's why you need iron pills.
that's why you need iron pills.
Like, you get your blood drawn, and like they'll tell you if you are low in iron. Like, mind your business.
You can't just assume. You can't just assume people are low in iron.
Are you first of all, are you her nutritionist or doctor?
Yeah.
Like, who asked you for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Now that I do have my baby, it's more so about the breastfeeding because she's not eating like solids or anything like that. So the only things I've heard that was crazy was just like, she needs water. And I'm like, my breast milk is 85% water.
Like, right? Like, what do you?
She's okay.
And again, who are you to tell her like what her baby needs?
I just don't understand. This is such like one of my best friends from back home. I'm from Seattle. We've been friends since we were 14, and she said she struggled so much with people giving unsolicited advice. They like see her pregnant. She has 2 babies now, and it's just like she puts so much effort into these kids. Like, they are her life. Like, why do you think that she's neglectful or like hasn't thought of these things? Like, it's just like when someone sees someone pregnant, all of a sudden everyone thinks it's a free for all to give all this unsolicited advice.
Like you're walking around with a sign that says like, please give me advice.
I don't know, but I just take a ticket.
I'm gonna say something slightly controversial. I bet if like the father was walking around with the child, no one's gonna be like, "Are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you giving her this?"
Yeah.
I was listening to a
Just
podcast,
saying.
and they were talking about that. I don't remember who it was. It was someone who has a baby, and they were like, when he has the baby during a Zoom meeting, like with his company or whatever, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you have the baby! You're such an amazing dad."
Yeah.
But then they look at a mom with a baby, and they think, "Oh, you didn't find someone to watch your baby."
bad.
Right.
So
Or
unprofessional.
so unprofessional.
But like a man,
Like
with
you
their
shouldn't be
babies,
working if you have to.
It's cool.
Yeah, just
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, he's going above and beyond by holding his
Yeah.
baby.
Such a good father.
Yeah, and I think that just goes with so many more areas when it comes to like motherhood and fatherhood. If a father steps out on a child, you know, all the downfalls of the mother, everyone's like, "You're a
Yeah.
horrible mom," and it's like, okay, well, where's the father to help
Yeah.
balance this household and
Exactly.
to help the mother?
Exactly.
But no one really looks like that. I think
No.
they just put the blame on the women all the time.
Yeah.
It's
It's always
like,
like, yeah.
you know, we have to be these superheroes.
As if we didn't do
Right.
enough. Like,
Right.
you literally carried the child for 9 months
Okay.
and birthed it.
Yeah.
Okay, like you literally got the child to this point.
Yeah.
You
Right.
clearly been doing things right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But honestly, I'm just so thankful because I feel like our village have been like extremely supportive.
That's great.
And I think that since I've been vegan for, you know, a while now, everyone pretty much just like minds
Yeah.
their business.
Yeah.
Unless
Right.
they're like,
They see the evidence of like your glow and like your
Yeah.
health, and they're not,
Yeah.
you know, maybe they think twice about being like, iron.
right. And then even like for my boyfriend, he's like maybe 10, 12 years older than me.
Yeah.
And he looks my age.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
they see how we
Yeah.
live. We live
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend and I met her on. You guys know met her on. She always take selfies together. And yesterday we were on the phone, and she's like, "You know why our selfies always look so bomb?" I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Cause we're vegan." I'm like, "That's so true." Like our selfies just glow, and it's always like, "Dang," you know, it's just like that vegan glow.
It is. I think we're all up
Yeah,
there.
we're all
Yeah.
glowing. We're all
It is.
glowing.
It's inside out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
inside out.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, I'm so glad you haven't had to deal with much hate, because I think that's
Yeah.
one thing like a lot of people worry about with you know
Yeah.
having kids one day. It's like a bunch of people are going to insert their opinions
Yeah.
and things
Yeah,
like that.
definitely.
Anybody that's going to like
Yeah.
you know feed their kid vegan, or you're
Right.
doing whatever you feed them, you're doing what you think is best
Right.
for them.
Right.
And
Like,
not only that, it because people have asked me the question like, well, what are you guys gonna feed her? Are you guys gonna make her be vegan? And it's not a matter of making
her-
You guys made. First of all, our parents all made us.
Not
like,
me. Not me.
I'm still pissed
Like
at
you
my parents.
forced-
I'm like, you
yeah.
guys didn't think to maybe research into
Right.
vegetables or something.
Yeah.
You're just
But
like,
Like
you
you
know
forced
what?
us. Like I remember being little and they were like, chew the meat, chew the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chew it, finish it.
Yeah.
That's
Or if
forcing
you didn't
us.
like something, I went to like I think I spent some time at another family member's house and they would like make me finish my food.
yes,
Like,
yes.
it's nasty. I don't
It's
want
right.
it.
Yeah.
That was such
Yeah.
a thing. That must
Yeah.
have been everyone's childhood. I don't know about you guys, but it's like such a thing. Like
Yeah.
grandparents, your parents, like you
Yeah.
finish everything on your plate. But
Yeah.
it's like, why
Yeah.
should I put so much on
and
the
people
plate?
get so like emotional about like forcing kids to do things. You have to force kids to go to
do
school.
anything.
Like you
Yeah.
like if you said, "Oh, you can do whatever you want," you think like I wouldn't have gone to school. Like at 10 years
Right.
old, my mom was like, "You don't have to go if you don't want to." I'd be
Right.
like, cool.
Okay.
I'll
A
stay
parent
home.
is to parent. To
Yeah,
guide.
you have to
Yeah.
guide. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to do what's
Seriously.
best
Like
for your
when they're
kid.
old and they move out of the house, like
Yeah.
whatever they do, that's on
Yeah.
them. But like when you're responsible for
Yeah.
them, you're gonna do what you think
Exactly.
is best for
Yeah,
them.
you're gonna raise your family the way you choose to raise your
Yeah.
family. And if
Yeah.
that's to raise that beautiful baby girl with a plant-based vegan lifestyle, that's your choice.
That's my
Like,
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny how people always think that like when it comes to what you feed your kids, that's all of a sudden their business. But
Yeah.
like nobody ever does that with anything else. They're not like, are you gonna raise your baby Christian? Are you
Right.
gonna raise your baby religious or atheist or like
Right.
you know, like nobody's
Yeah.
asking that. It's
Right.
When it
like
comes to food, but you
But when
feed
it
your
comes to
baby
food, yeah.
McDonald's and it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't get it. It's not my
Yeah.
business, but I don't get it. I don't get it. And on top of that, it's not like I'm not making my child, but this is what I cook. So
Yeah.
my
Right.
baby can't cook.
Yeah. Exactly.
And my baby doesn't work. So she's gonna eat what I bring in.
Okay. Right. You make food for her to eat, and she eats it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's food that's good for her. It's nothing, and it's like it's not like it's harming.
It's
her.
vegetables.
I know it's so funny to me when people ask me that too, like, oh wait, like, are you gonna raise your future kids vegan? I'm like, most babies eat vegan, and
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
old enough to be like they're eating breast milk, and then when they start eating foods, like you said, they're eating like pureed yams,
Yeah,
and
like
peas,
Gerber.
like-
peas
Yeah.
and like yeah.
I mean, just imagine like puree steaks and stuff. I'm
Like,
like,
oh.
Just that
like,
visual.
Yeah.
that's
I know.
That's intense.
Like even the little like pureed little snacks, like the apple snacks that like little like just even older kids like take to school. It's like their fruits and like their vegetables. Like they're not like even like the yogurt. You know, do you guys remember the Go-Gurts? They had to dress them up with fruit because that's how you get them to
Tons of
taste
sugar.
good. Yeah, tons
Yeah.
of sugar. Like but like fruit flavored stuff. It's like
That's so true.
that's how you dress it
Right.
up. Like I don't think a kid's gonna be like, Greek yogurt, delicious. Give me another one. No. It's like that's what makes things good. And like I think as humans, like we're drawn to like fruit. Like we're drawn to like want to eat an apple.
And vibrancy.
Yeah.
Like if
Right.
your whole plate is brown and white, like she said, it's none of my business, but
Unless it's rice and beans.
yeah, unless it's rice and beans,
Yeah.
it's okay. So how has the response been from your community? Like, you know.
Oh, it's been very well. So initially when I started, I would hear like comments saying, with people saying like, you know, people who live in Compton are nutritional desert. I call them nutritional deserts. Most people call them food deserts. They're like, they're not gonna eat healthy. This is not their preference. But I launched in Compton. And it was amazing to me that a lot of people were buying my juices.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what was gonna happen. I didn't know who was gonna support, where I was gonna find the support, and what was gonna happen. But the people in my community were buying these juices, and they would come back because they liked them.
People underestimate communities of color, I think, because they think this goes for a lot of supermarkets too. They say we're not going to open this type of supermarket there because it's not the demographic, it's not the income. It's like half of these communities are driving to these markets so they could get better food or healthier things. So if you put these things in communities, they're going to go buy them. Of course they are. Like people want to be healthy. People like given the option, like people want to do what they think is best for them.
Right.
And those places, like I'm from Detroit, like those places have those types of fast food places and unhealthy places for a reason. Like it's very political. It's there for a reason. It's definitely, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, most definitely. And even just from the billboards. I mean, when you're driving down the freeways in these communities, you'll see like McDonald's have like 2 for $1 or, you know, like come get this hot box. I don't know what kind of meals they come up with. But they always have like these different campaigns and it makes you think like, $5 for a meal? Okay. You know? Yeah. And I feel like when it comes to obviously like when you're making vegan foods using a lot of the mock meats, it can get very pricey. Yeah. But if you use more vegetables and more like actual plant-based foods, it's not that pricey. Yeah. It's not that pricey at all.
It's a lot less expensive than like meat and dairy products.
Yeah, fruits and vegetables are always going to be the cheapest thing at a supermarket, and rice. Like all those like bulk items like grains, legumes, like those are always going to be the cheapest things. Like of course if you're buying mock meats, it's going to be pricey, but I guarantee you, like next to the mock meat, you'll also find some like jazzed up like real chicken that's also kind of pricey. So
and I've done this going to the grocery store just to like test it out, and I'm like, okay, I'm only buying like just strictly plant-based, no, just vegetables, rice, those things, and it's always like $30 for like a week or whatever, and
it lasts.
And it lasts. And if you throw in Beyond Impossible, this of course it gets pricey. But also the prices of meat. I think Alessandra one time sent us you sent us a photo of the price of a steak.
Yeah, it was like something crazy.
$120 or something, and we're like, what vegan item is there that costs $120?
No, my dad all the time. Crazy. My dad's from Argentina, and he will not go vegan, but he has like get-togethers at home, and I like cook up my Beyond sausage when this happens. But he has his get-togethers at home, and he goes and he buys the steak. He like for like 5 or 6 people, he's spending easily $200 for one meal, like buying different things. Granted, they eat a good amount, but it's like not like you would have to try so hard to spend $200 like on like vegan just whole foods.
That's a vegan
for
party
people.
for like 20 people.
That's for 20 people, and that's like of course mock meats can add up pretty quickly. But again, if you're making just like pastas and like rice and like beans and just like even like flour tortillas and corn tortillas, those are so cheap. You know, you go to your community supermarkets, they're like the cheapest thing there. So don't come at me with it's too expensive to
Right.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
okay, red beans and rice on my cornbread. Okay, I'm telling you.
We need to try this cornbread.
What's your favorite?
Cannot
what's your
hear about
favorite
this
meal
cornbread
to make?
anymore.
My favorite meal, I love tacos. It's
Oh
super
yes, I
easy.
love tacos.
It's super
Classic.
easy,
Yeah.
super tasty.
Joy does love tacos.
I
That's
love
like one
tacos.
of her
So
favorite
versatile.
I'm going to
things.
Mexico City for my birthday in a couple weeks just to eat tacos. Like, it's my life's mission.
They're so versatile. You can make like all sorts of different tacos and like just make different cultural tacos even, and it's like just delicious.
How do you make yours?
So sometimes I'll use the Beyond, and I like to simmer my whatever mock meat I'm using. I like to simmer the meat. I'll add like a little vegetable broth. It sounds weird, but hear me out. Season it. Add some bay leaves. Season that bad boy. A little cumin, a little paprika.
Yes.
You know, I really don't use a lot of taco seasoning powders in the package
Yeah.
because I mean, literally, you can just like
You have those
Have all those
spices.
peppers.
I have those spices at home.
Yeah.
And I just be adding seasons.
Yeah.
Whatever I feel is right at the moment. I smell it. That works.
Yeah.
Add it in there. Smell it again. That works.
Yeah,
Add it
you're
in.
like me. That's what I do. I'm just like,
Yeah, I like to just try it
Yeah.
out, but definitely letting it simmer and a little bit of some juice. I like having like a juicy taco when I
Yeah.
bite it. Which way y'all tilt your head? To the left or to the right?
to the left. To the left.
So they're
Tilt
like,
to the
oh,
left.
Whatever
Whatever way.
Oh, you go to the right?
I'm left-handed, so
Oh.
I'm opposite.
I just like
I'm
for it to
right-handed
just
and I
drip
still do
out.
to the right.
Oh my God,
You eat it
that
with your
sounds
left
so good.
hand?
Yeah, like if I'm trying a taco, I always eat it with my left hand.
Really?
And I use a knife in my left hand too, even though I'm right-handed.
Wait, what?
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
know why.
You must be. What's it
Ambidextrous.
called?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for Nature's Thirst Trap? We got the juices, we got the hotcakes,
Yes.
baby food maybe.
You know what? I don't know about the baby food just yet.
You gotta trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be the taste tester, the official
Yeah,
taste tester.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely hoping to get Nature's Thirst Trap in some stores.
Yeah.
Definitely these vegan pancakes. They're super affordable. They're like $7 for the pancakes, and I mean you get a lot in here. I hope that's what's in the makings for me is getting
12
these in some-
servings per
Amazing.
container.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And that's an estimate, like
Yeah.
depending on how thick you want
Big,
them
yeah.
or how big you want them. You know, you could really get a lot out of these.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I really hope we see you in stores really soon.
Yeah.
I think these
All
are
the stores.
delicious.
These are delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah,
They're so
so
good.
good. You
This
guys.
is probably one of my favorite juices that
No,
I've had.
it's
Yeah,
There's
definitely
something
for
about the
sure.
cinnamon in there,
For sure.
with the
It's
pineapple.
perfect.
So balanced.
Yeah.
It's better than a lot of the brands that I see.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping I'm also, I've been talking a lot about the cornbread mix here. So
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
that's up
Yeah.
next. You guys will have to stay tuned and see.
manifest.
Maybe we can have an episode where we have her cornbread and red beans in her hand.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm ready for that.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
been
thank you
such
so
a
much.
pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
know.
guys.
Thank you so much.
I know. I'm like, it's like one of those juices you don't want it to end.
I
but
know.
I'm at my mark where I'm
Savoring
like,
mine.
I'm
like,
taking
I can't
small
wait to read it in the
sips.
fridge.
I'm taking small sips. So
Savor it. We'll link all of Imani's information in the description box down below. Make sure you guys go follow her. Check out Nature's Thirst Trap. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you next week for another episode.
bye guys.